we can. Hello, everyone. My name is Katy, and welcome to the Greenland Quilter. And I have Eric with me tonight. We are going to sew together. And I'll go ahead and shoot this over to Eric and let him tell us a little bit about his channel, so you know when he's on and stuff. And also, what you gonna work on today? Go ahead, Eric.
So hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little disoriented because for those of you that have been following me, you know that I just recently made a big move. So I'm still kind of in the transition process. But for those of you that don't know me, please allow me to introduce myself. Well, first of all, thank you, Katy, for inviting me again to do this Zoom and live stream with you. My name is Eric, and my channel is called Treasure Heart Creations. I know that's hard for people to remember, but Treasure Heart Creations. And I do a lot of sewing or quilting related, as well as some crafting things that on my channel. And well, I'm not afraid to just do something crazy once in a while. So a lot of people just kind of keep an eye on me to see what I'm up to, and well, we have some fun together. So I do have, or I'm starting to get back into the rhythm of doing a live every Tuesday night, starting at 7 p.m. here. I'm in Pacific time, so I know that's late for a lot of people, but a lot of people just kind of come in on the next morning, because either I come on too late for them, and they just catch the replay. But we're usually doing sewing projects like the project that you see behind me. Actually, this is a completed quilt, but I wanted to make another quilt similar to this. So that's what I'll be working on for the next, however long we go, maybe an hour or two.
Yep.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun.
Yep. So I have been quite busy for the last few days. I've been working my tush off, tour guiding. But I don't know if most of you remember or not, but I'm trying to get my other camera up and I'm having trouble with it. I don't know if any of you remember me talking about how I had won 10,000 kroners back in December from a raffle that we bought some raffle tickets from. And today I went on my first excursion with that money. And so this is kind of like last minute getting these done because there was a deadline of when I could use the money. So today I went to the ice cap by boat, and I got quite a bit of video and pictures from today, along with some nice looking icebergs. And if I can get things to work on here, I'm going to show you some of the icebergs. I won't show you the videos that I made, but I can show you the pictures. But we might have to like rifle skip through there to find the pictures as soon as I get everything, if I can get it done today anyhow. Also, I'll be going on a helicopter flight to a different portion of the ice cap that's down here. I don't know what to expect yet from what I've seen of pictures, so it looks like the helicopter lands right on top of the ice cap. So I'll get to do that. And then I'm going on an iceberg safari, so I'm going to have lots of content to share with all of y'all. And I hope you'll be excited about seeing it as it is for me to start sharing these as I get them edited. So we had a good time today, but boy, oh boy, am I tired. Because we had to hike. See, I went out about 3 weeks ago and we visited the same part, this particular part of the ice cap. And so I have video from that from like 3 weeks ago also. But I have pictures from 2012 and 2017. And now I have pictures of now, and y'all will be shocked by the reduction of the ice cap where we were at. Because when I first moved here, when you first come into the fjord, you would see this curtain of ice, and it was sitting right on the water. Now it's way up the side of the mountain. You have to hike a couple miles maybe to get up where you can touch it. Now today we didn't hike up to where we could actually climb on top of it, but we were able to get at an angle where you can see this big ice cave. So I think y'all are going to really love that when I get all this stuff edited and up online. It's going to be really cool. So I'm really excited. I'm most excited though about doing the helicopter flight, because that means that I get to do video footage from the air, which is always cool from a helicopter. And since we're going to go to the ice cap, I'm assuming it'll be somewhere I haven't been, which will be something I can share with you guys. And I'm just really looking forward to that. So how is everybody doing today, and what are you working on? And let's say hi to everyone in the channel. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay. Hello, Denise. Hi, Linda Faust, or Foos. I'm not sure which. Yeah, I wonder how you pronounce that. Hello, Andrea. Hi, Sean. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Mary. Let me see here. Hey, Gladys. And hi, Deb S. And hello, Michelle. And hello, Round. Oh, hi. Wait. Yeah, hello, Round to It. Hey, Around to It, what's your first name? Hello, Cindy Good. Oh, goody. Well, I have some people I've never seen in here before. So welcome to the channel. And we're a little bit, I don't know, unorganized at the moment, but we're going to get it together. So what I'm going to probably work on is I'm going to finish sewing together these half square triangles from the Stitch It kit that I was working on the other day. And then when I get them done, then I'll probably switch over to work on my Clue 1 of Wild West Delilah. So I'll be showing you that also. So Eric, tell us where you moved from, and is that okay to tell where you moved from to where you moved to?
Sure. So I was formerly in Los Angeles. If you ever fly into Los Angeles International Airport, you flew right over me. And I have moved to Southern Nevada, specifically Las Vegas. And of course, everybody's telling me, oh, you got to visit. So yeah, so I've been there and they know I'm here. It's been quite a dramatic change, both just mentally and physically, because the two areas are so different, and or the lifestyles are very, very, very different. But it's been a pleasant change that I was kind of looking forward to. I haven't met a lot of quilters here yet, but then I've also been kind of just focused in on just settling down here. So looking forward to reaching out or maybe being part of a guild here. I know there is one large guild called the Desert Quilters Guild or something, but yeah. Whoops. Just trying to settle in, trying to transition to getting used to Las Vegas. And I will say that the biggest shock to me has been how hot it is here, because it has not been below 100 degrees Fahrenheit since I've been here yet. And even late at night, it still goes up into, I think the coolest it gets down to is like the high 80s or so, but that's at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So
has Los Angeles ever got that hot before?
it has, but not consistently like Vegas, because it's like every day it's over 100 degrees at the high.
Wow. I can't imagine having, well, I've seen it that hot in Florida in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in what we call the dog days of summer. It gets really hot sometimes. But I can't imagine it being that hot somewhere where, there is no water to help cool it back off. Ooh, this is off again, look. Oh no, that's you.
Oops.
Okay, so let's see.
Yeah, but believe it or not, we're not the hottest city. I think Phoenix beats us by a good 10 or 20 degrees.
Yeah, I heard that it's hot in Arizona for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of them are saying you're closer to Tiffany, Eric.
Yes, although I haven't been in contact with her because I've just been moving.
Was it a hard move?
It actually was, because I was, sorry, I was doing everything myself. And when I priced out the movers, and just doing like an interstate move, I mean, going from Los Angeles to Las Vegas isn't really like moving across country, but the the amount of money that I would have spent was over $10,000.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
I was kind of in a bind where I just had to say, okay, I'm just going to do this on my own. And drove across the high desert several times in 100-degree heat. But it did save me a lot in terms of just moving costs. So
Yeah, I can imagine it did. Because, man, some companies just are so expensive.
yeah.
It's like they're
And at
geared
least
to.
Yeah, and at least this way I knew that everything was safe. There was nothing, I heard horror stories about how some of the moving companies, somehow your stuff develops its own two legs and walks away. So at least in that respect, I knew what was going into what box and where it was going to on the truck. So
Okay, that's cool. Uh, Jackie says she's working on the Cotton Cuts Christmas table runner. You know, I still have to finish mine. I haven't finished it. So, who wants to know what happened this week that's good news concerning my son? Let's see who can guess what the good news is. Who wants to
oh,
guess? We have some good news to share. What do you think that's happened this week that I want to share with you guys?
can I guess?
Yeah.
Is there a grandchild on the way?
No.
Oh,
Let's not. Let's not add to his problems right now. No, but he already has a son, as you probably remember, an 8-year-old.
ah,
Anyone want to guess? So I don't know if you were aware of this, Eric, but he's been homeless for 10 months.
wow.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Joyce hit it, and so did Jackie. He moved into his apartment 3 days ago, I think.
Hey.
He doesn't have much right now, for his apartment, but I did get the Amazon wish list up. We're still adding to it. We're both trying to be really easy on what we put on there. But yes, he got moved in, and my grandson, you should hear him. He has never had his own room since he was born.
Wow.
He has his own bedroom, and he is ecstatic about that. So it's I think that I think everything's gonna be okay. We're still waiting to hear back from the Family Dollar store that he had a good interview with, but they're waiting on a background check, and apparently their management is being changed because the previous management are not there anymore, which is
Oh, wow.
not so good since we're having to wait even longer because Thomas is trying to get a job. But yeah, so I don't know if you want me to share the Amazon wish list link in here, or if you'll just go over to my I posted it on my you know how when you go to the YouTube main page for a user or creator, you can click on about and you have a list of things. I posted it there, but I can also post it in here if y'all want me to. So I thought y'all would be happy to hear that, Yay!
Well, that's good news.
Yeah, I finally got me a little bit of sleep after once he got moved in there. I've slept 12 hours, you guys, because I've been sleeping only 2 or 3 hours because I can't sleep because I was worried about him. They, as you know, they've been in and out of a hotel and their car. So,
Wow.
but there's been a lot of things falling into place. that he gained another social worker, seems like, because he suffers from depression, anxiety, and PTSD. So they added another caseworker to try to help navigate him and Blaze through the system, so that while he's trying to get a job, they'll be taken care of, along with him receiving extra mental health and things like that. So he's doing really good. They've gotten moved in, and like I said, and his demeanor and the way you can tell when someone's sad versus very happy. You can even hear it in his voice that he sounds relieved. So thank you, all of you who have helped with helping me keep him in a hotel. Some of you have donated. Right now we just need to work on getting things for his apartment, because he needs everything, because he has nothing but the clothes that he came in with. But outside of that, I am just so happy, you guys. And thank you. Okay. It's your channel. You should post it, Michelle says. Okay, hold on. Let me go grab the link. All right. So, Eric, are you settled in, or do you still have quite a bit to do?
Oh, you see, what you see behind me is just the nice part of the room. If I were to turn this camera around, you would see chaos.
Oh, I know the feeling. So did you move into an apartment, or what did you move into?
An apartment.
Okay.
It's actually a pretty large complex, because I think there's about 50 or so units in this total. A lot of them are not occupied because they're renovating. And when I moved in here, it was just coming under new management, and which a lot of the residents that have been here for a while say that they like the changes. So they like the changes that this new company is doing. They're still having a little bit of a disagreement on certain things, but it's progress from what they've had before. So that was kind of reassuring when I was first looking for apartments here.
Is the apartments expensive there, or is it? I mean, I'm sure living in LA was pretty darn expensive. What's the living cost so far that you've seen between LA and Las Vegas?
I'm saving about $700 a month just in rent here, but that 700 is being depleted by the energy costs, utilities, and because again we're out here in the desert, you do have to run your AC kind of 24/7. So I'm trying to look for different ways to kind of cut down on the energy costs. One of them being internet, in which I was surprised at how expensive it is to get internet here, comparatively speaking to someplace like Los Angeles, where I was paying maybe $80 a month, and here it's almost $250.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Why is it gotta be so high?
Well, I don't want to talk bad about this company, but they have like a basic monopoly in which they can charge whatever they want to, because they're so large and influential here that there's not much competition yet. But I do see some smaller companies kind of creeping in, namely the cell phone companies that are, how do you say it? They're offering wireless internet services. So for the home. So I just signed up to switch over to this new company, and just got my equipment yesterday. I haven't set it up yet, but yeah, they're charging a third of the price, or not even a third, a quarter of the price that what this larger internet company is doing. So yeah, happy about that.
So the little apartment that they moved into is like it's like a long house, but it's been like divided in half, and so it's like a duplex is what we call them in Florida. But do you know how much it costs to just rent one of those? $975 a month.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Rent is so high these days everywhere. But I have no idea what the utilities would cost currently, to get it started. Because right now he qualified under a grant that's going to help pay for all this stuff for right now. So, that's good. On the link, so I can for the Amazon wish list. There's some stuff on the wish list so far. Now you can either go by that, or you can choose whatever you want to donate yourself if you choose to do that. On the outside of the wishes, you don't have to use a wish list if you want to try to do something on your own. Also, Blaze doesn't have any toys or anything, so there's that. He loves Lego techniques and things like that. He's very advanced, just like Thomas was at that age with Legos. So he does like doing that. But if you want to donate toys or crayons or coloring books or whatever an 8-year-old would have fun with, you're welcome to do that also as part of just whatever y'all want to do is fine with us. We are just so thankful right now. So and I wasn't planning to use tonight for that, but it just turned out scheduled of when things happen, because we've been waiting for so long, and me trying to keep him motivated, and not give up. He's been really, I have to say that, between moving across the United States by himself and he's really hung in there with all the challenges. And little man's doing so good. I thought that there would be a bit of it was upsetting for him to have to leave California. I know that he misses his cousins, but he's been a tough little dude hanging in there with all of this and not acting out at school or anything else. In fact, his whole attitude at school has been admirable. He's and now he started 3rd grade about a little over a week ago, I think now, or has it been 2 weeks? I can't remember. But and he likes his teacher, and they've got everything up and going for him as well. So yeah, that's how it's going for them right now. So I figured y'all would want to know. So thank you, everybody. All right.
That's so awesome.
So today we had when I went on my ice cap safari, there was other tourists on the boat with me, and it was a married couple and then a mother and daughter team, and they all were from Florida.
Oh, wow.
Floridians, you guys. So it was like we had a really good time together because we got to talk about Florida. They got to ask me about me living here. It was a lot of fun. But the name of the cruise ship that was sitting in port this morning was from Carnival. And tomorrow, I think we're getting another. Actually, yeah, we're getting another American one tomorrow, or it's going to be full of Americans tomorrow as well. So I'll be working tomorrow morning really early. I have to be there at 7:45. I'm going to be tired again tomorrow.
Oh, I know the feeling. But it's a good feeling. It's a good tired.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, because I have missed, I'm always looking forward to the summer when I can work, because that way I get to contribute to the community as well, It feels good when you have a job.
So when is cruise season hit Greenland?
Well, this year it was supposed to start the 3rd week in May, but then we got that big, huge chunk of ice that broke apart off the northeast coast and floated its way down our way. And basically, I don't know if you've ever looked at the map of Greenland, but at the very bottom of Greenland, you see how it goes like this, just like the bottom of Florida, kind of. Mm-hmm. And so when the ice moved down, it not only got clogged up in all the fjords down in the area, but then on the outer edge of Greenland, it landlocked all the way around it.
Wow.
So the ice was like over 2.5 meters thick. And so for the last part of May, all of June, and 3 weeks into July, no one could get in and out at all. And so I'm sure someone's going to say, why didn't the ice go ahead and go out to the ocean? So normally how this works when the sea ice breaks apart is that it'll float its way down here, and sometimes it comes into the fjords like it has the last 3 years, or you might get 1 year of sea ice in the fjords, and then the next year it'll be what I call the iceberg parade, and there'll be lots of big icebergs come by the harbor every day. It'll be something new, and sometimes it'll be an excessive amount of them. Sometimes it'll just be a few. Well, this time we really got a lot of ice, and because three things happened. The first thing that happened was apparently the water up, because the Atlantic travels, up both sides of Greenland. There's a steering current and a Gulf Stream that runs through there, and this Gulf Stream steers everything. But because the ice got warmed up and broke apart and made its way down to us, it came early. Normally, this doesn't happen until May or June. Last year, I think it came in April, so it was a little bit earlier, but this time it was excessively early. And normally what happens when all the ice drifts down, then we get some wind around springtime, because we all know that every time you go from a transition of winter to spring or from summer to fall, the weather can be volatile, and you'll have, windy conditions, right, or thunderstorms. But here we don't have thunderstorms, but what we do have is very windy conditions. And there was no wind to push the ice out to sea, so that's why it stayed stuck until the third week in July. And then finally the wind came and shoved it all back out to the ocean, and it released all the ice from the fjords and from the southern tip of Greenland. So this is how our weather's changing here. It's affecting how things get steered around Greenland, out of Greenland. Wind conditions that should be there are no longer there. What else? Our temperatures are warming. Today, I bet it was around 80 degrees, except at the ice cap. I had to wear a jacket today and gloves for a little while, but I ended up taking the gloves off because I couldn't operate my phone with the gloves on. And yeah, and then, of course, by leaving my jacket on, and when we hiked up to the ice cap, by the time I come back, I could tell that I was wet inside my jacket. So when I peeled my jacket off, I'm standing on the back of the boat as we're leaving, and then about 15 minutes into standing there, I'm like, uh-oh, I'm cold, because I forgot I had wet clothes on. So I ended up having to put my jacket back on so that I didn't get totally frosty and not be able to get warmed up fast enough. Okay, so no one else is working on anything tonight? Let me know what you've been working on.
Yeah, people don't actually realize how much damage the earth has been suffering over the years until they actually start seeing it, like, or experiencing it, like, yep, going through the caps. Growing up in Hawaii, like, I just went back a couple of years ago, and you have picturesque white sand beaches that are now getting filled with plastic garbage that's not even coming from Hawaii. It's coming from other parts of the country or other parts of the world. And it's kind of happening at a more alarming rate. Plus, with the effects of global warming, like right now, there is a threat of a big hurricane hitting Hawaii. So I've been trying to get a hold of my family there. Fortunately, they're okay, but they've been through hurricanes like this, but we've been noticing over the years, these hurricanes are getting stronger and stronger and stronger, that, it's just the effects of everything we've been doing to this earth. So it's scary to think about it, but, there's hope too, because I do know, I've been following some organizations that have been trying to make a difference in this, and they're not getting the type of exposure that they do need, but they're trying. And to me, I don't know, it kind of gave me an idea, because even as quilters, what I have to, or what I learned is there's actually a lot of waste in terms of just fabric. just
Mm-hmm.
not just with quilters, but with the whole sewing industry, with fashion, because when things go out of season and they go out of style, guess where it lands? In our landfills. And
Yep.
a lot of these big scale companies don't know what to do with all the extra. And so
Yep.
I've been learning that, there's companies that are trying to reuse it. They're trying to give it to people that don't have clothing or that need it. So kind of just thinking, well, if we're part of the problem, which was hard for me to admit, because here we are buying fabric, and well, even developing fabric has its consequences with natural resources, but we're part of the problem. We should also be part of the solution. So I've been kind of racking my brain as to what I can do about it. I don't know if people have ever watched the show Project Runway, but there's always a few episodes on there where they call it the unconventional challenge. And they challenge each of the designers to make a outfit out of non-traditional materials. And I'm kind of wondering, well, what if we do that with quilting? So before I packed up everything and made the move, I started experimenting with different things. And I was looking at maybe developing a quilt out of plastic.
That's interesting.
And it was interesting. It was also a learning experience to see how the material reacts to certain things. So I don't know. We'll see about that.
Yeah, one of the things that on the same subject here, whenever I do tannery tours, a lot of times tourists will ask, about the why the Greenland is still tanning seal skins to turn into jackets and pants and other things. And a lot of people, if they're not educated toward what an indigenous culture is doing, they just assume the worst because of what they see on social media and on where we can use Greenpeace as one of those companies. And they tell a story, and then people hear that story, and they must be right, so let's go against this country because they're doing this. But what they don't realize is that a lot of times, so sealskin is a byproduct of hunting for food, because we can't depend on other countries for food. I mean, we do, but if they don't make it here, all Greenlanders know how to live off nature, all of them, including me. I mean, I always have fish and stuff in the freezer. Should I not be able to get chicken for a day or whatever? But one of the things that I try to educate on in the tannery is, so if you're wearing an animal product, or say this is cotton, so we know this comes from a plant, that's where the cotton comes from. Wool comes from sheepskin, from the hair of the sheep. So all of this is animal, it's mammal stuff. And we all know that when a mammal passes away, it goes back to nature, just like we go back to nature when we pass. With animal furs, it's the same concept. Should it unspeakably end up in a landfill, it's going to go back to nature again. It'll go, back dust to dust, as we call it. Those vinyl jackets and stuff all of us buy and wear, those take 100 years to die in the landfill.
Yeah.
So, the indigenous probably know more about nature than people who don't live in nature.
Yep.
And this is not me being down on nothing. I'm just sharing with you the culture of the way things work here. So hopefully no one's worried that we're going to go on a rabbit hole or down a rabbit hole. I've learned a lot about how the way the planet's changing and how it's affecting our weather, because I watched a video about a month ago, and the video was talking about they were looking at ice cores that they had managed to get way deep down in the ice cap from. And it showed that there was a time period where CO2 was very high in the atmosphere, and that can happen from volcano eruptions, from ice thawing out and releasing methane gas. All this goes into our atmosphere. So when enough CO2 builds up in our atmosphere, then what happens is the planet starts to warm. And that's a natural effect due to CO2. But at some point during that warming, the CO2 does dissipate. And when it dissipates, then you get a cooling trend on the planet. And that cooling trend, depending on where it's at, can start back building ice, up in the north and the south again. Or it could be places stay cooler than they used to stay for a while. And the planet's trying to reset itself, but it can't keep up with, because not only are you getting CO2 from volcanoes and the release, like the permafrost is thawing and all this is being released into the atmosphere, but you also got us into play here.
Right.
And so that all can just add up and create a problem. And that's why you see so many bad weather patterns, super hurricanes and tornadoes. All of this is Earth trying to reset itself. Kelly says the indigenous people of northern Canada have a similar style and to the indigenous people of Greenland. Yes. So if you wanted to backtrack history, if you went back 5,000 years, you had the the Qaqortoq age, the Dorset age, and you have the Thule age. During the Qaqortoq age and the Dorset age, all these peoples traveled back and forth between Alaska to Russia. And what they were doing is they were following herds of migrating reindeer, muskox, polar bear, and bowhead whales. The bowhead whales were the biggest reason they were traveling back and forth. They hunted the bowhead almost to extinction before someone back in that time frame said, hey, wait, we need to reassess how we're treating nature. So so they started being more mindful of that. But then, after the Dorset age, which becomes the Thule age is when all these people split into groups. Some stayed in Canada, some stayed in Alaska, some stayed here in Greenland, and some stayed in Russia. And they started just staying in one place, but they would migrate. Well, I'm not sure what kind of migration pattern there is for Alaska and Canada, but here in Greenland, they would travel up and down the West Coast. And sometimes there was a group of them that actually came down the West Coast, off the south, and back up the east side. So there's 2 or 3 places where these group of people stayed on the East Coast and never come back up the West Coast. And so you'll see that they're like the culture will be slightly different on the northern side versus the western side, and then the northwest side, their culture will be slightly different in how they do things too. So you have this give and take going on, but one of the biggest things they do is they totally preach about respecting nature. And you don't take more than you need. If you have extra, you give it to your neighbor, because maybe your neighbor couldn't go out hunting and fishing. So it's a pretty interesting thing. Yesterday, for the first time in 13 years I've been here, someone got themselves a muskox yesterday. And they brought the muskox down to the fish market, parts of it, to sell to people in town so that they could partake of the meat as well. So, it's a really beautiful thing that happens here with how they share fish and muskox and whale meat and seal meat. If it's down at the market and you go down there, you can buy some of it. And the price for seafood and mammal food here the mammal that's indigenous to Greenland is so much cheaper than going up to the grocery store and pay an arm and a leg for a whole chicken. Yeah, it's way cheaper. Okay,
I think with all indigenous people, that's a common theme, because they lived off the land, so they knew how to respect it. Because even we're growing up in Hawaii, we were always taught that you don't litter, you take care of the land, and when you do that, it takes care of you. Yep. So there's always that sense for me growing up that nature is a living thing, and you respect it. And when you respect it, then it'll respect you. And you don't go like even these days they got laws to protect fishes so that people are not overfishing. And you know, a lot of fishermen in Hawaii that grew up with the local culture, they know that hey, if this fish is too small, of course you respect it, put it back in the ocean, let it grow, let it populate. And if you somehow illegally catch that fish, again, respect it, put it back in the ocean. And if
Mhm.
you're not going to, or if you're just fishing for the pure joy of it, let the fish go back. Don't
Yep.
don't just take it as a prize trophy. And even if you do consume it, consume all parts of it as much as possible.
Yep.
So
So the culture there is they're worldwide, more or less. About not taking more than you need and using all
yeah,
parts. That's
yeah,
very much a big thing. Using all parts of whatever because if you're going to hunt and fish it, you better use all of it.
yeah. And even what I've also noticed is that even if you do take an animal, you always give it a prayer. And
Hmm.
usually that prayer is centered around saying thank you for the sacrifice that they made. And to me, that's a sign of respect again for nature.
Does Hawaiians have a culture of here the culture about when you become abusive to nature, you anger Mother of the Sea. This is before the country was Christianized, but and some still kind of believe in that Mother of the Sea, more or less. That hasn't been killed in their culture. But does Hawaiians have something similar to that?
Yeah. So there is Mother Earth and then Father Sky. Um, and growing up, they told us that story just to again kind of humanize the nature as well. Um, Growing up, we had this program. Well, let me backtrack a little bit about history because when Hawaii became a state, there was a big controversy about how do you say they wanted to suppress the culture at one point,
Of course
and
they did.
so things like hula, anything Hawaiian, was kind of discouraged a lot during the years. And in the 1970s, there was a resurgence because the um, the Hawaiians were finally standing up to, the outside influences that were kind of destroying their culture. So they revived a lot of the programs. And growing up there, going to school, one of the big programs that they had going on was that they would invite uh, the elders or the kupuna, as we would call them, to just share the culture. They would teach us the Hawaiian language, or at least the basics of it. They would instruct us about Hawaiian culture and
Uh-huh.
what it is to be morally, how do you say it, like spread catchphrase is to spread the aloha, but
Yeah.
it was more or less just how to, uh, Hawaiian culture is all about respecting people, respecting the land, respecting nature, and so just teaching us those type of values. Um,
With the mother language, your Hawaiian language, um, do they teach it in all through the whole period of kids in school, or how does that work to keep that
so
language maintained?
so these days they have whole schools that are just not they're not taught in English, they're taught in Hawaiian.
Okay.
And of course it's a choice that the parents and the family makes to send their kids to one of these, they call them immersion schools,
Mm-hmm.
and they're fully accredited. I mean, I do know the few students that have gone on to colleges and universities through these schools. They do teach modern topics, but again, everything is just explained to them in Hawaiian. So they are expected to learn the language, um, and you can get prepared for college degrees, but then they do also have cultural studies in these schools in terms of like how to work in the taro patches, how to work in the fields, how to uh, grow with nature and take care of the land in a more traditional way. So, of course,
That's
Hawaiian
cool.
language is now an official foreign language, so you can take that as your foreign language requirement in schools. I did that for 3 years, and let me tell you, learning Hawaiian has been such, like, I see people trying to take French, Spanish, and they all come out with the doomsday face. But when students come out from the Hawaiian language classes, they come out smiling, they come out really joyful. So yeah, there's been a lot over the years that has been, or a lot of focus in terms of just reviving, or yeah, just reviving Hawaiian culture, because it's been suppressed for so long and we've
Yeah.
lost a lot. And with every year that goes by, we're losing generations of elders that are not, it's like time for us to pass on the knowledge. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
sounds like the younger generation needs to be learning the culture so they can pass it on to the next one.
yeah.
Has there ever been any discussion on trying to put Hawaiian in as first place language, or do you think that will never happen?
That might happen, but there's a lot of political things that need to shift, I would say.
Yeah, that's one of the things that when I don't know exactly how far back it date, when they were colonized, there was a lot of that you're not allowed to speak your mother tongue and that kind of thing, and they
Yeah.
took kids from families and sent them to Denmark to learn the Danish way. And so I think you'll always see some Danish stuff stuck in the middle of the culture of Greenlanders. But this right now, I think there's a resurgence of trying to make sure that the culture is protected and that the language stays active. So right now, Greenlandic is in first position, and then they learn Danish as well, which is second. And English starts in the 5th grade, but there's fixing to be a switch where it's Greenlandic, English, then Danish, because the country's been for the last, well, since right, it was supposed to start right before the pandemic hit, where they were going to go ahead and start working on the airports. Then we had, the pandemic happened, so everything came to a halt. But now they're really, really working hard to get all these runways in and everything, because tourism is going to be an additional income for Greenland. And if people can fly in easier, they don't have to necessarily get on a cruise ship to come see Greenland. They can just straight shoot it over to Greenland and, decide where they're going to go in Greenland and fly. And everything will be, in place where they can get back and forth. So that's what they're working on right now. The newest news about the runway or the airport Nuuk, they've been test running flights between, and I can never say the name of this Canada town, so it's an Inuit name, and I can't quite pronounce it properly. So they've been flying back and forth between Nuuk and there, and it's going good. But now there was a recent thing in the over on KNR, which is our local news. They were talking about that. Who I guess it's what is the world? I don't know what worldwide entity takes care of these things like security in airports worldwide. And apparently they grounded the flights for a few days because there was too many unlocked doors when they were going through security. When you go through security before you fly to another country, your stuff is scanned, and your suitcases, of course, are different from you as a person when you go through security. But they discovered with the new airport that there was too many unlocked doors, so they're working on securing doors. And something to do with the security system itself when you go through the airport. They need to fine tune that. But it's interesting because then a few days later, I think it was yesterday, there was a thing on KNR saying that one of the flights went ahead and went from Nuuk to Canada despite the problems with security. So I think I think it's just because they're not worried about Greenlanders doing any bad things. I don't know. But I'm super excited because I can't wait until I can start flying straight from Greenland to the United States instead of this Greenland, Denmark, United States. I am just so looking forward because if I can fly in somewhere on the East Coast, then, if I'm going to California, I can just hop on a short flight to go to California, and it'll work itself out really good.
Well, I don't know how short of a flight that will be.
Well, going from here to I mean, we're like spitting distance to Canada. I mean,
Oh.
you can see we're really pretty close, but I don't know. I'm thinking it maybe 4 or 5 hours in the air between Nuke to say New York, maybe 5 to 6 hours, because technically it's if I fly from Boston to Copenhagen, that's about an 8.5 hour flight. But you go through time differences. I mean, you automatically lose 7 hours once you leave the East Coast to go to Denmark. Automatically, you lose 7 hours. If you fly from California to Copenhagen straight shot, that's 11.5 hours.
Right.
And then you really go through drastic time changes because not only do you have the 7 hours you lost going from the the East Coast there, but you also have there's a 5 hour difference between the West Coast versus the East Coast. So add that's about 11-hour time difference. So basically, by the time I get to Copenhagen, I've lost an entire day. It's crazy, and your brain just can't comprehend that time change. Just suddenly, there's no time there. Now, we're only Greenland's only 3 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time. It used to be 2, but Greenland stopped doing that time change stuff.
Yeah,
so now,
I wish the U.S. would stop doing that.
Well, from what I understand, the reason it was ever done to begin with was to keep closer time difference during World War II, I guess is when that happened. I don't know the whole history of that, but I think it had something to do with that last war. Let me see here. Looks like Sean's having a romance with Jack the Ripper. Guess who else has been using the Ripper? Me.
Is Jack cheating on me?
Yep. Okay, I'm going to backtrack and read some of what is being said. Let me see. Kelly says she's warming up hot dogs for lunch. See, it's so weird when I hear lunch and it's already past dinner hour here. Okay. Michelle says she's learning so much about the weather. Yeah, I hope y'all take all of what both of us has been saying about culture and about the weather and nature. I hope all of y'all took all of that in a positive way because we don't want to offend anyone. Andrea says, I have been starching and pressing fabric for the pattern I am currently writing using a couple 1900s blocks. Oh, I bet that's going to be interesting. Kelly, hello to Kelly Moliter. I probably said that wrong. Welcome to my channel. First time I've seen you here. She says, hello, everyone. I am working on a By Annie bag, the round trip duffel. I have it all cut out and now sealing all the edges. It takes a while to prep all the steps before starting to put it together. Yeah, I haven't learned how to make a bag myself yet. I'm scared of it, so that's why I haven't even tried. Let me see.
They're not as difficult as people would think they are.
It's not?
No. It's a lot more parts to it, but I mean, if you can do a quilt, you can do a bag.
The bags, but have all that bulk, and that's what scares me, I think, is the bulk.
But once you give it a try, I mean, you don't have to do like a complicating bag, but even a duffel. Of course, I was scared to just try and figure out how to sew the sides. But once you figure that out, a lot of those Annie patterns, you kind of find that they're not that difficult to do. They look complicated, but
well, I'm going to have to give it. I would like to make one of those. I would like to learn how to make a grocery bag, and have the handles just a bit longer, where when you put it on your shoulder. Well, two things about that. One, usually you find them too short, so you can't exactly get it on your shoulder right.
Yeah.
And the other is the straps on the ones like you buy from the store. They hurt my shoulder. And I would like to figure out how to make one where when I put it here on my shoulder, it doesn't hurt at the same time, but it also lays properly where you can balance that so that when you're walking from one store down to another one, you're not constantly having it slide off your shoulder and stuff. Michelle says, I watch Project Runway every season. That's a great idea, Eric. You can have a challenge online someday. Hey, that would be great.
There's an idea.
Yep. And Andrea says, I used to crochet sleeping mats out of plastic shopping bags for the homeless. Wow, that is cool. Let's see.
There's someone else that recently did that. Stephanie. What's her channel name? She used to be Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter. I know she was doing that for the homeless as well.
Yep. Oh, I have to hit her up and find out how she made one then. Kelly says, I think all the different conversations are very interesting. Sometimes I feel like I live in a bubble, so it's nice to learn about different areas. Yeah, I think that when you, like in my case and my sister's case, and there's many Americans who live overseas or in different countries and stuff, and, you know, there's two assumptions made usually. One of them is, well, because you live in another country, you're not an American anymore. That is wrong. No. Totally wrong.
Yeah.
You will always be an American no matter where you live, unless, of course, you decide to give up your citizenship. And I'm not going to do that. No, I love my country. But now I am a resident of both countries. And so, you know, I have an advantage. But when we, you know, I didn't understand my sister. She would make comments sometimes when she would come home, you know, about how things are seen from over here versus over there. And once I moved here and got established, then I realized it's different when you're seeing what's going on in another country from another country. It's interesting. And your brain becomes open to more subjects and more, you learn about other culture. I didn't even know what culture meant till I moved here, because I don't feel like my family had a culture. Not that my mother ever talked about, or my dad, much less. I mean, there was no culture there. You just was from the South. That was the culture, from the South. And a lot of times being from the South is not something, you know, you want to talk about that much.
But I think even like like when I first moved from Hawaii to Los Angeles, for me at least, it was a totally different culture, because going from a island mentality to a bigger city, you don't get much larger than Los Angeles, and you see how people, how do I see this, not in a negative way, but it's a different mentality that you have to have.
Yeah.
And so it was hard for me to try to remain true to myself, but still try to fit into, you know, big city life. And fortunately, I had some friends from Hawaii that understood what I was going through. So they kind of encouraged me to, you know, just explore it and just accept, or not accept it, but just kind of don't forget where you grew up.
Yeah, don't forget where you come from. That's right.
Yeah. But even the regional differences within every country, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of that happens.
Yep. I wish that everybody in the world could experience different countries at some time in their life. I'm not saying move there, but maybe, you know, if everybody in the world's economy was the same, everybody could afford to get on a plane and, say, fly to someplace in Europe or Africa or Australia or South America, you know, just that once in a lifetime kind of trip. I wish all people all over the world could do that. You know, then they would see how other cultures are done, and they would be more understanding of how things work. Because if you're not exposed to it, it's harder to understand sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Kelly says, I love making by Annie Bags. I have multiple bags made with coordinating fabrics. And then Donna says, Kelly, it's my pattern. I have been making bags for about 50 years. Laugh out loud. I really should make a pattern to share maybe one day. Hey, you should go share your bag pictures over on the Greenland Quilters Facebook group, or on, don't you have a Facebook too, Eric?
I do, actually. Treasure Heart Creations.
Yeah, go share it over there too. Join his Facebook group so you can share what y'all are working on and what you've made in the past. And then we can see each other's work, because I love seeing other people's work. And then let me see here. Jackie says, ended up getting a new sewing machine today. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Tinker wanted almost $1,500 to repair my machine.
Wow.
Is that for a Singer machine, Jackie? And then, uh-oh, the bot's not working. What's going on with that? You see that, Eric? Oh, no. Why isn't it working? And then Jackie says, machine only costs $500 to replace it. And then Donna says, oh, Jackie, I can relate. About 4 years ago, I had to make a decision about repair or replacement. Then we discovered the parts weren't being made anymore. I bought a Juki. No regrets. And Jackie says she replaced hers with a Janome Horizon MC8200 QSP. All right, what's with the bot? Why didn't it show Eric's webpage or YouTube channel?
I have to share this with you, because this was such a hard thing to walk away from. So I've been thrift shopping for some small pieces of furniture. And there's one particular thrift shop in which I saw two featherweights fully operational, with the table, and the belt was really good. They said that someone rewired the machine, and it looked really nice. So it still had its original decals on there. Of course, it was kind of refurbished a little bit. And this was at a thrift shop for only $50.
Lucky you! I've been trying. Every time I go to Denmark, I want to look for some.
I wanted it so bad, but I said, you know what? With everything going on, it's not the right time for me to get this machine. So yeah. I had to painfully walk away from it. And I'm just hoping that maybe sometime in the next couple of weeks, it might still be there.
Yeah, you never know. It might, if it's meant for you, it'll be there. I have a friend that used to tell me all the time, it's all about timing when it comes to something you're trying to do or accomplish. And at the time, I thought, that sounds like a joke, but really, it is about timing. When it's time for you to do something, or if it's time for you to buy something, or it's time for whatever, that time will come and you'll know it's time to do it then.
But I literally screamed out and people kind of stared at me. I was like, I didn't care.
Joyce says, it's sad not knowing your ancestors. My mom was 1/4 American Indian. Of what breed, she has no clue. And my dad's grandparents were the first to come over from Germany. What is that heart covering up? And neither one of them discussed it. Yeah, it's Joyce, you probably could do what I did. Of course, there's a story why I did DNA, but you could do like Ancestry or one of those places where you can send your DNA, and you might be able to find what Native American tribe you came from, because the DNA will definitely tell you what it is. I found out that I have DNA in my DNA. Yeah, this one. That there's 1% from the Congo and from the peoples of Bantu. 1%, you guys. But then I also have Danish, Norwegian, the Netherlands, There's not Iceland. Germany, which I don't know what that means exactly.
Mhm.
And Britain.
I'd be curious to see what would come out in my result. I should do that.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, and that's how I found out about a cousin I didn't know I had. I mean, the story. I know I probably told the story a long time ago, so some of you might not be aware of this, but back in the pandemic happened in 2020, right? So this would have been 2019.
Mhm.
In 2019, I got an email on my ancestry page, and it was from a man who was doing research for a woman who's trying to find her paternal grandfather. And she knew it was one of the Oglesbys, but she didn't know which one. And these Oglesbys were from Georgia, and there was like 13 for that generation, which would have been my grandfather. There was several brothers. There was like 13 or 14 of the Oglesbys, and so she knew it was one of them. She just didn't know which one because her mother never really talked about how her dad and her got together, or whether he ever knew about her, the baby or not. And so they had approached me because every time they would approach someone else, it was an Oglesby, they would say no. And I'm like, why would they say no to something? Wouldn't it be nice to know where your ancestors come from? But they kept getting no. And I'm like, I'll do it. No problem. And I had an alternative motive myself of, agreeing, and I'm not going to go into that, but it had to do whether or not I was actually, if my dad was actually my dad.
Yeah.
Because of the way he treated me. He treated me differently than the other two. So anyhow, come to find out, I'm going to laugh. Come to find out that my paternal grandfather had an affair between my dad and his younger brother. Now, I have no idea if my father knew about it, or if his sister knew about it, because the younger brother, he was born, when he was born, something happened during childbirth, and it caused brain damage. So he was what you call a challenged, mentally challenged handicap. So someone always had to care for him. And so he wouldn't remember any. I have a picture of him holding me, actually, but I don't remember him because I was a tiny baby when he was holding me. But anyway, it turns out that I had a half aunt that I didn't know about. No, an actual aunt, actually, yeah. And that I have a half cousin. So we've been talking back and forth. She lives in Georgia. And the interesting thing is she's only like 25 minutes away from where Thomas lives. So I'm hoping when I go back to the United States in 2026, I'm going to get in contact with her and we're going to meet, because I think meeting another family member who just happens to still be living on my paternal side is something to take the time and go do, because no one on that side of my family is living. They're all gone. They either died of heart disease or colon cancer. And so, I only met my aunt. She's the reason that I can started growing plants and learned how to crochet. I only ever met her one time that I can recall, that I was old enough to remember that. So it's been a pretty interesting thing finding out if you have a cousin and she's got kids, so I really want to meet her, and she seems like a really cool person.
There's this show, I don't know if they still have it, but it's called Finding Your Roots. And what they do is they go through the ancestry. They actually they reach out to some celebrities and they go through their ancestry, and sometimes they go like 5-6 generations back. And it's always interesting when they have someone that's of African American descent to find out that they're part white. And so on one of the episodes, it was I'm pretty sure you know who she is. It was Gail King, who is besties with Oprah. And they do this DNA test, and they find out that she is, well, she didn't want to admit it. So she's like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. And then they announce, yeah, she's part white. And she's like, oh boy. Then she says, don't you dare tell Miss O, don't you dare tell Miss O. They started laughing about that. But apparently, from what I've watched on the show, there were a lot of, during the time of slavery, of course, the slave owners would rape a lot of the women. So that's how a lot of these descendants, they find out they're part Caucasian.
Yep. There might come a time in the future where there will be no races. You know what I mean? And I think that if that were to happen, it would probably make people getting along much easier. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I still don't think that that's going to justify all the past stuff, but But it might make living together better. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, she says that show is still on PBS. I should watch that. I love watching it.
I'm pressing blocks, so bear with me.
I don't feel like I'm making much progress here. I'm just digging through scraps.
Okay, let me see here. Kelly says, thanks for the welcome, Katie. I have been here before, but I usually don't comment, laugh out loud. I've been trying to get involved more these days. Well, thank you for that, Kelly. We don't know you're here if you don't say hi to us. Let's see. Jackie says, I have been waiting to do that. My dad's family was from Scotland. Oh, that's another place I'm from, or in my DNA is Scotland. But there are 7 branches of the family in Europe. Interesting. So I think that on my mom's side it's mostly Dutch, Danish, and what was the other one? I can't think of it at the moment. But on my dad's side it's the German and the English stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing I think I will regret for my life was that before my grandfather died, we didn't learn about, or at least personally, I didn't learn about the family history. I do know that one of my cousins back in Hawaii has attempted to put together the family tree, but because of the history behind, the sugar plantation, people being immigrants, it's hard to track where the ancestry really is. So, but she's doing an excellent job. I think she took a DNA test and she found that the roots on my dad's side is in one part of in a specific part of Japan where they bombed one of the atomic bombs.
Yep.
So.
Well, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but my children, my first husband, he was half Japanese. His mother was from Japan, and during the end of World War II, the Army had stationed soldiers over there off of Okinawa and a couple other places. And somewhere during this time frame, Mr. Douglas met Shio, and they fell in love and they got married, and he brought her back to the United States with him. And so, my kids are, they don't know what to put on. You know how when you're filling out an application or you're filling out, then it'll ask you about your ethnicity. And and one of them came to me, Mom, do I just put white Caucasian, or do I put more than 2 races? And I said, more than 2 races, because you're a child of more than 2 races. I wouldn't be ashamed that I have, or don't be ashamed that you've got Japanese DNA in your, body. She shared a lot of her culture with me while she was living. She was an amazing person when it came to sharing things about Japan or cooking food that was, Japanese. I loved eating her food. Her food was always, and the kids grew up eating sushi. I didn't eat sushi, but they did. And, Lynette was comical because she was always shoving something into Lynette's mouth when she was a baby, you know, that was of Japanese origin, you know, and she never, Lynette never fussed about it. So now she just totally eats any kind of Japanese food, even if it's the weird stuff, you know.
Yeah, I know of a lot of my friends growing up that didn't grow up around Asian food. They have a problem eating certain things, the raw fish, the raw stuff mostly.
Yeah.
But
So
you know,
Branka says, "Hi, came in late. Did I miss much?" No, we're kind of just, our subjects are a little all over the place right now, but Eric's working on, you're making string stuff, right?
I'm just sewing
Or
crumbs together.
improv.
Yeah.
And I'm working on trying to finish using all these Stitch It leftovers. And I kind of wish that I hadn't have, I'll show you what I'm talking about. What did I do with them? Okay, here they are. I kind of wish that I had waited, and I'm probably going to get the ripper out and take them apart. I went ahead and sewed together all of these 3 7/8 blocks, and I'm sitting here and I sewed all these smaller half square triangles. And now I kind of wish that I hadn't sewn these together, because I could make like a 4-patch where you got one half square triangle on one side, and then do it on the other end where you have like an hourglass in the middle of it. So I'm thinking about taking these apart and start, you know, redo them so that I can use these with those together to create another design out of the blocks. For those who haven't seen the blocks that I've done so far with the Stitch It kit, here's some. I'll show them to you again. Some will have seen it already, but if you've not been here before, you've not seen them. So here's the first one.
Ooh.
This is the second one.
Dutchman's puzzle.
Oh, is that what that's called? I just kind of
so.
went along with it. I didn't know that's what it was called. There's this one.
Wow.
And this one.
Now, what fabric line is that?
I have no idea. These all came, you know, already pre-cut into triangles and blocks and stuff. So I don't know. But I bet I could find out from Kim what fabric line it is. In fact, that's a good idea. I'll send a picture to the help thing on Content, and let's find out what the name of it is, because it's exceptionally colorful and happy. And that's why I'm enjoying messing around with it, because it's so. I wasn't sure about the green, and you see that I used the green here on this one, and when I put it with these other colors, the green don't exactly look like that lime green anymore.
No, it blends in really good.
Reason, yeah, for some reason between the purple and the black, it changed how it looks to your eyes.
Yep. That's one thing about scrap quilting, because you can play around with different colors, and if it doesn't match, who cares, because it's all scraps anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, I agree with you on that. And I've been working on my string stuff. I've been doing like a block here and there, you know. I don't know what I want to do with them yet, though. I was thinking, let me see what you think about this, Eric. I was thinking about, and I don't know if this will weaken it or what, but I was thinking about, what if I cut this on this diagonal here, and then after I got all of them cut down the middle that way, then turn around and sew them together like a pinwheel, or like a, I don't know, something. Or should I leave them like this and sew them together?
No, I say go for it. I mean, one of the things that I experimented with a lot of the string blocks, because I got tired of just the traditional string block. Yeah. So I experimented with like doing a pinwheel or doing like a traditional quilt block out of strings. And if you pair it, because the strings are so busy with all the colors, if you pair it with a solid or just something consistent, you'll be shocked at what you can produce, because it'll give a traditional block a whole brand new, fresh look to it. So there was a quilt that I did where it was just strings, and I made a turn dash block out of it. And when I looked at it, I was like, wow, this is very, very versatile in terms of like just, well, one of my friends is going to kill me for saying this, because turn dash is her favorite block. And until I made it out of strings, it was not my favorite. But when I looked at the quilt, it turned out really great. Actually, hold on, let me grab it for you.
Okay, yep, and then I'll pin you so you can show it. How's everybody's weather your way? Tell us how hot it is, or are you getting rain? Or I noticed that Oklahoma was having some cooler temperatures, which was pretty odd for them for August. Anyone getting cooler temperatures currently? Let me know. I would like to know.
Okay, so it's not fully quilted, but it is.
Hang on, let me spotlight you. I'm going to spotlight you. Okay, there we go. Oh, that looks nice. I'm going to have to hit you up on how to do that.
Yeah, so this was kind of an experiment for me in terms of just trying to find colors that go well together. And the biggest challenge was this round sashing.
Yeah.
But when you throw, one thing about scrap quilts is the more colors you put in it, the better it actually looks. So I just was making quilt block after quilt block and just kind of set this on point. So I don't know if you can see the full thing, but
you put the little blocks in the empty space too. That looks gorgeous, Eric.
Yep.
Oh, I love it.
So all of these blocks right here that are part of the set in triangles,
yeah,
they were just the cutoffs from doing all these half square triangles here.
Oh, okay.
So I basically put every single piece to good use, and I still got some extra pieces in which I'm kind of thinking maybe doing something in the border with it. So yeah,
that's
there's an idea.
I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but I mean, I do find that some people are afraid of experimenting, and part of working with scraps and working with strings is the fun of it is just to experiment with different things.
Yeah, I think my fear has to do with ruining it after I did all that work. You know what I mean? So my confidence levels are a little low on what to do with it when I do it. But in my brain's like, oh, why don't you cut those in half and then figure out how you want to do it? Or I was working on something while I was in California, and it's not finished, but I'm going to finish it. Where you were putting a half triangle here, so that you could turn that into a pinwheel. And when you sew the 4 blocks together, it'd end up with a pinwheel because you put that half triangle over there on each of the corners. And I thought that would be interesting to have a solid color like stuck in the middle, like little stars here and there,
Yep.
And I wondered if that would look good with all these stripes like this. The channel's saying, Denise says, wow, love it, Eric. Denise says, your setting triangles are really cool, Eric. So that's what those are called, setting triangles.
Setting triangles, yeah.
Deb says, that's a pretty quilt, Eric. Mary says, that came out awesome. Branko says, super beautiful. And Glenda says, it's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go as far as I am right now with the stitching. I'm going to switch over to working on my clue 1 of Delilah. And in case you're wondering what Delilah looks like, let me show you the colorway. This is the first time me stepping outside my usual little box on colors. But this one, this one out of all the colors, I kind of liked the cave one, but I was concerned it was too much orange in that one. But and then you can see there's a design on the fabric.
Oh, pretty.
Yep. And I did get an oops kit with it. Where did I put my oops kit? I don't know. It's somewhere. I'm too tired to think about where it's at. Eric, please tell your time slot. Yeah, Donna says, please tell your time slot for those who don't know yet. And I will go. I need to find out why the bot won't show your channel.
So I usually do a live on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. That's Pacific time here in the US. That'll be 10 o'clock on Eastern time. And then, wait, 7, yeah.
Have you,
9 o'clock Central
is there a time difference between LA and Las Vegas?
No, because well, technically there should be, but we're part of the same time zone, so no.
Wow, you know why the bot won't show your channel? Because somebody forgot to put your channel in it. Oh, so I'm busted. All right, let me go find it and put it on the bot where I can share it so people can go. Y'all, as soon as I get his channel posted, go over if you're not subscribed already and subscribe to his channel because I know he would appreciate that a whole lot.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, treasure heart creations. Let's get your channel address and we're going to stick it in the bot. Okay, now let's make a new command.
So here's a question I got for everyone, actually. If you need a quilt really fast, what's your go-to pattern?
Go-to pattern, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what they say. All right, now let's save this command and then I'll test it in the channel. All right. Okay, now let's see if it works. Kelly says she's got to run. I will catch the rest of them on replay. Okay, looking forward to it. Hey, Kelly, when you come back to watch the replay, can you post in the below the description box where you're watching from so I can learn where you live? That would be great.
Bye, Kelly.
Jackie says rail fence.
Ooh.
There's the channel, so y'all can go and click on it. Deb S says 3-yard quilt, and Branka says 4-patch. Awesome.
I never did a 3-yard quilt. Or at least one of those patterns.
Actually, yes, I have done a 3-yard one, come to think of it. And then I turned around and gave it away this year to someone for her 60th birthday. It was a friendship star quilt, what I made out of batiks.
Oh.
So you're like, you gave away batik quilt? I did for her. I mean, she's my boss, but she's also my friend. And, they Greenlanders here have treated me so good. And, despite the language barrier when I first moved here, we can now talk to each other. Sometimes it's English, mostly it's English, but every now and then I'll talk to them in Greenlandic. I'll ask them how they are and tell them I'm doing fine in Greenlandic, and we'll experiment with how it comes off my tongue. Which sometimes, you guys, is pretty funny what happens when it comes off my tongue. Because some of the sounds I just can't quite. Either the sounds come from here down in your throat, or like with I'm gonna type this word in the channel. It means you're welcome. Wait. ILLILLU. And you're gonna be like, that looks like Ilulu. No, it's not. You have to make sound. You put your tongue up here on the roof of your mouth, and while you're saying the word, there's sound that's supposed to come out the side of your cheeks. Now, as an English-speaking person, we're hearing what sounds like, or to me, from my point of view, I'm hearing what sounds like an S sound. But I think it's close to being a sh, but not exactly. So it's Isusu. You hear how I try to push the sound out the side of my chest? I've got, when I first was trying, oh my God, I struggled so hard. But now when I say it, they smile and they laugh because it's funny how I say it. But they know what I'm saying when I say it. Or like today, we were talking about the small town of Nanotalik. And I'll spell it in the channel so you can see it. Now, when tourists see it, they're like, oh, that's Nanotalik. It's not. It's Nanada, that D sound, but I make it a little too hard. So when you hear a Greenlander say it, you can hear the D sound, but you vaguely hear it. And I haven't learned how to take the hardness out of the D sound because the T is a D. And also, there's like a Yungalanga. I'm going to put that in here. I hope I spelled it right. Nope. Yep. That doesn't look right. Do you see at the end of this word the NGA?
A Yungala?
Yeah. That G is not a hard G. And I haven't learned how to make it sound the way Greenlanders make it sound. Because you can kind of hear it, but you don't hear it, if that makes any sense. But that means I'm doing great.
Interesting.
But you can also do the short of it, and you can say Ayun.
Ayun.
Yeah, so let me spell this so you'll see it. This word right here has this just that piece of that word has 720 variations that is used in.
Oh, wow.
Is there do all Greenlanders know all 720 of them? No. They might be one or two of the older generation that might know them all, but probably not the newer one.
Well, since we're doing a vocabulary lesson, here, let me put in.
Okay.
Because Hawaiian culture, they love their vowels.
Oh, I bet they do, kind of like these consonants, right?
Uh-huh. Did I spell it right?
I always worry I'll misspell it, and then when somebody tries to look it up, they, oh my God, look at that long word. That's as much as a Greenlandic word.
So you pronounce it humu humu nuku nuku apua'a.
What does it mean?
It's actually the official state fish of Hawaii.
Okay.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah. Here's another one.
What's the longest? Do you know what the longest word is in Hawaiian? or how many letters? What's the longest one? Do you know? Are you aware of that?
It was actually one of my high school friends. Her middle name, I can't even say it, but it was 123 alphabets long.
Wow. So it's like Greenland then, because there's one. I'll have to look it up because I don't have it in front of me where I can show you, so I'll look it up. But I think it's 153 characters in the word. And I'm like, how do you even say something that has that many letters in it?
Well, how do you even remember it?
Yeah, exactly. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah. But,
I found it, you guys. All right, let me post it in the channel along with what it means, or I'll read what it means and just show you the word. Okay. So I wonder if your language is similar to the Inuit language then.
Possibly.
Because that would be interesting. Okay, here's the longest Greenlandic word. And then I'm going to tell you, I'll post what it means.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding about that. So this is the meaning of it is called or the meaning of it says, once again, they tried to build a radio station, but apparently it is still only on the drawing board. So you can see there's some humor in there too, because Greenlanders are very humorous people. And they were probably talking about the radio station that sits on top of the mountain down by the harbor. Okay, now what? I need to see what step I'm supposed to be doing so I don't get this done wrong. Okay, I've already done that one. Now I'm doing this one. Sometimes you should never quit what you're working on in the middle of something because you might not remember how you got there. Or I don't know if you experience that, but I do.
Oh, all the time.
Okay, that's why I had 2 of these out. Okay. So so you can see what some of this block is starting to look like. This one is part of one of them. So that pink is going to be interesting in there with that green.
That's an interesting combination.
Yes, I've never seen pink with green, so it's definitely interesting. I wish that, I don't know if you have the same problem with Hawaiian or not, but well, Hawaiian's native to you, but to me, Greenlandic is not, because I'm an only one language speaking person. I mean, I used to speak Spanish, but not so much anymore. The saying, you lose it when you don't use it.
Right.
And but anyway, the biggest thing I wish that they had was books that showed how to pronounce parts of words, like this LL sound and this NGA that teases me so hard, or not saying the T, which is supposed to be a D sound, so hard where it sounds a little hard on it. I would love to get where I could just do it easily, but there's no such thing, because in English, when you're a kid, the first thing you're exposed to in school is phonics. And I guess they don't teach phonics here for Greenlandic. And it could be that by the time the kids get into kindergarten, they're already speaking these big, long words.
That's interesting, because I guess, like when we were learning Hawaiian language, of course, you go according to the phonics of it, and then we had to kind of, Hawaiian's not a very difficult language to understand or to speak, actually. There's a certain accent, I guess, to it, but because it follows a lot of the English sounds, even for foreigners, it's not a hard language to pick up on.
Oh, okay. Oh, come on. Okay, let's hope I took care of that now, because I don't know if I have any mods in here right now. Nope, there's still another one. Go away.
What I started, a lot of us actually started doing this, was just to have the chat be subscriber mode only, which that is a setting you can do.
Yeah, let me go turn it on so he doesn't change his username and come back again. I don't know what the deal is here, but sometimes I want to I wish I had darts that could go through the internet. Oh, this sounds mean, I know, but let me see if I can fix this problem, because I have to go into the studio to do that. So let me see if I can fix that. Do you remember where the setting is?
It's one of the customizations.
Okay. Participant mode, subscribers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Now it should fix it where he can't come back in and do it, unless he sits it out for 5 minutes, and then I'll have to switch it again. Sorry, guys. I forget to, I have a couple moderators, but they don't always come because they're busy, which is okay. Did everybody see the message about subscribers only mode? Or is that just me I'm seeing it?
Nope, we all got it.
Okay. All right. Hopefully he won't come back. You would think by now trollers would stop doing that kind of thing.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, it is a pain in the butt. Or it's irritating. I just have fun with them sometimes.
Well, if I had fun with them, y'all would all leave because there would be naughty language coming off my fingers. Because I don't like being bullied like that, because that, to me, that's another form of bullying.
Yeah.
They're deliberately trying to make you uncomfortable. And my anger demon wants to come out when it happens. Like, let me tell you what, you're not going to talk to me like that. Oh my gosh. He's back. Ah, there we go. Now maybe he won't come back. Sorry, guys.
Oh, Diane Sozio, you almost had it right. But I know what she's saying.
What does it mean?
It means Merry Christmas. So let me give you.
Cool.
So pronounced Mele Kalikimaka. Kalikimaka is like the Hawaiianized version for Christmas, in which they just took the English word and tried to put it in Hawaiian phonetics. So it's not a traditional word, but yeah, of course, it's a common phrase that you will hear in December around Christmas time.
Yep. Let me see if I can find the Greenlandic word for Christmas, because I can't even say it. Hold on a minute. Let me go look real quick. Maybe it'll be on here, I hope. Greenlandic.
No problem, Diane. In fact, well, I forgot what his name is, but there's a famous 50s singer that made a whole song out of it.
Okay, here's the word for Christmas. Merry Christmas or something. Anyway. See those double L's in there?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's why I can't say it, because I can't figure out how to say it. And that J, here's a funny thing to share with you guys. For 2 years, I was saying Joelsen for my last name, which starts with a J. And one day we had to do something at the commune where we had to register something for me that has to do with me. And when I said Joelsen, the lady gave me a blank look. What? Let me see your information. So she says, and she looks at Nikolai while she says it. She says, that's Joelsen, not Joelsen. And when I got home, I told Nikolai, why haven't you corrected me on that? Because I wouldn't have known any different until someone said something. He's like, I didn't think it was a big deal. Till now, anyway. But if you try to say Joelsen in the United States, they assume it starts with a Y. So what did I do with this other one? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay, dwindling down. Anyone else enjoy sewing crumbs together?
I do. I think they're fun.
Yeah.
The improv I like too, but I find the improv a little bit harder. And I don't know why that is. Maybe because I don't know where to put, because sometimes my shapes come out very odd. And then you're like, okay, how am I supposed to turn this into a block? But I'm sure if I just wouldn't overthink it, it would probably be all right, you know?
Yeah, that's one thing I had to learn, is just not to overthink stuff and just let her go.
Yeah. I have a feeling I might have went over that other one too far. Let's see if I did. Uh-oh. I think I sewed it on the wrong side.
Uh-oh.
Why do I always do this? I'm almost sure that this one's on the wrong side. It is on the wrong... Wait.
Yeah, something I always do. And it
Of
always
course
happens on the
it's-
live, too.
Yep, I sewed. It looks like I sewed it not only on the wrong side, but also the wrong direction. Oops! Here comes the Ripper. Did Sean stay in the channel or did Sean leave? I meant to say hi to him, and I missed it because I could have sworn I saw him there. The guy who sews. Did you guys see him in the channel earlier? He got, I think one of the foreign exchange students arrived this week at his, for him to pick up at the airport. And I think the other one's supposed to be here, may already be here by now, I'm not sure. But one's from Denmark, and I can't remember where the other one's from.
Oh, I lost Bob and Chicken.
Uh-oh. Jackie says, depends on the day. Right now I'm working on a crumb cheat sheet. It will be cut up later. Okay. Diane says, that's how I know, but haven't heard it in years. Oh, talking about the word. I want to learn how to say, have a nice day in Greenlandic, but the word is, I'll go get it because I had someone write it for me the other day. It is so long, and I'm not sure how you're supposed to roll that off your tongue.
Sean might not be here. Yeah.
He may have already left.
Yeah.
Or he was just saying hi earlier, and I just missed it, and he was somewhere else. So I'm going to show you how to say have a nice evening and and also have a nice day. So let's do have a nice day first. Wait till you see what it looks like. Whenever you see double vowels, it means you're supposed to draw the sound out a little bit. And yeah, you draw out that vowel sound a little bit. And this one just happens to have, you'll see what I mean. This means have a nice day. See those vowels? This one is have a nice evening. There you go. Both of them are on there now. Hey, Frank, what's going on in Florida? I had lots of Floridians on I went on a ice cap safari today, and the other people that were on the boat with me were from Florida. 2 of them were from Tampa, and I forget where the other 2 were from. I didn't get to talk to them as much as I did the couple because the other two were decided they wanted to sit on the front of the boat outside of the cabin. And they stayed out there the whole time going to the ice cap and coming back to here. I spent most of my time on the back of the boat on the way back because I was filming and taking pictures. And oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, some of the icebergs we saw today were enormous.
I'll be back. I need to wind this bobbin.
Okay.
And I need to clean this bobbin case apparently.
Frank says, wish I was one of them. You would have a good time. You truly would. They, we had to hike up to get to where you could touch the ice cap part and see more of it, because you're going to see where I had gone through. When I start getting all my content up, you'll be seeing from where I was there 3 weeks ago versus this week. And one of the things that's different is there's this big, huge mountain of sand, and it's piled up way up high. The interesting thing is there's an ice cave inside of the sand hill. So that hill blocks the view of the ice cave that's part of the ice cap. So you have to literally kind of go around it, because if you try to hike up that sand, you're going to fall in. So when I was there last time, I didn't make it all the way up to where I could see the ice cave, because I had already used up all my energy hiking to where we did get. So this time I had saved up energy so that I could actually go hike all the way to the ice cap. I'm not a young chicken anymore. So I get tired out. And for some reason, I don't know what I've done, but I woke up this morning in pain in my back. So I must have slept wrong, or I did something to irritate the 2 prolapse disc. So I was feeling pain the whole time I was on the boat. And that's not me complaining. I'm not. It's just, it was a little shocking to wake up to that much pain. Normally I don't let it get out of control, because I take medicine at night. But when I woke up in pain, I knew that it's probably because I didn't take any last night, because a lot of times I try to ignore the pain and not take any medicine. But when you ignore it, you don't always get good sleep either. You know what? I think that I realized I did this block in the wrong direction, and I had already ripped the seam. So when I sewed it to the rest of it, because I had, instead of finishing when I was working on it the other day, I walked away. And so when I came back in here to start it, I already sewed it to the side. And when I looked at it, I'm like, why do I see daylight through a piece of the seam? And then when I just pulled it apart, it looks like I had already got a hold of it with a seam ripper. So I just had completely forgot that, I had done that. Jackie says, gave up sewing. Now I remember why I wasn't going to keep the something patchwork, laugh out loud, unthreads all the time. Oh, the singer. That heart is annoying where it's sitting at, because I miss out on part of the words.
Oh gosh, I get so annoyed with that.
And I keep forgetting to turn the dumb thing off. You can actually turn it off. I don't know why they chose to put it on that side like that. Why didn't they put it up at the top somewhere? Or maybe they didn't realize it was going to cause a problem during lives. Okay, I need to look at my little, so we can get this half square triangle turned in the right direction. Okay, now that's in the right one. And D is going to go up here like that. Okay.
Thank you.
Donna says, you get to pronounce that, Eric. She lived in Hawaii several years. Bing Crosby and the Andrews sisters sang Melly. Oh, come on, help me, Eric.
Let me see. Hau'oli makahiki ho. So hau'oli, which is different from hau'ole,
Okay.
that means happy or joyful. Makahiki, year, and ho, new.
So have a happy new year.
Yeah. So in the Hawaiian language, which is a little foreign to English speakers, your adjectives actually go behind what it's describing. So literally, when you translate it, if you're trying to say beautiful woman, you actually say woman beautiful.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's how Greenlandic is too, that the action word or the subject might be back in the word. Oh, that didn't sound good. What was that? Okay, where's my scissors? I keep misplacing my scissors. It's probably because I'm tired. So we've been on for 2 hours. Can you believe it? Doesn't seem like it. The apartment you have, is your sewing room in the living room, or did you have a separate room for it?
It's in the living room. I was thinking about actually putting it in one of the bedrooms because I do have a 2-bedroom here. But the bedrooms was just a little too small for me. So I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to turn the bedroom into the living space and put everything out in the actual living room here. And kind of happy with that decision.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea.
And if I have company over, oh well, they're learning how to sew.
Yep. Jackie says that's like Spanish.
Oh, is it? Oh, interesting. Okay. You know,
do Hawaiians do a big celebration for New Year's?
Oh, yes.
Because Greenland sure does.
In fact, there's a tradition in Hawaii where I think it actually comes from Chinese culture, but you light fireworks.
Uh-huh. Which is supposed
There is no fireworks show on New Year's Eve in Hawaii. That's because you can just go out on the street, pull up a lawn chair, then you got professional fireworks being shot off in every single neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it gets so bad to the point where the airport has to actually shut down by 6 p.m. because there's so much smoke out there that they really can't see, and it becomes dangerous for them to fly. And if you are driving in all of that, oh my gosh, you better hope and pray that you don't hit somebody or get hit by a firework.
Yeah. Do they shoot off the fireworks if you have high winds on New Year's Eve?
Oh yeah. There's no stopping
Same
that.
here is scared. The first time that I experienced it, it's funny when now that we're talking about that, when I first moved here, every New Year's for like the first 4 or 5 years, we would have those bitterrock, which means it's the wind from the north that's created because of 4 different temperatures that relate to the atmosphere, the water temperature, what the temperature of the ice cap is, and the warm air that's trapped in between all of that. It creates this high wind that's like a hurricane, or I think it's 10 times worse than a nor'easter. But anyway, they were shooting off fireworks, and I'm like, Nikolai, those are going to hit our house. He says, no, they won't. And he would get a big laugh out of me because I was just totally freaking out about, what if they burn our house to the ground? That's all I could think of. Because if he did that in Florida, oh my gosh, they would be a fire.
You know, the ironic thing is fireworks are actually illegal in Hawaii, but it's like there's everybody that's doing it. So, like, what can you do about it?
Yep. Well, they got to buy them from somewhere too. And if your fireworks are anything like ours, it's the big ones, the ones that
Oh, yeah.
usually governments shoot off.
Yeah.
They're so pricey. Oh my God, they're so expensive.
And if you can't afford to buy a firework, you make your own. And
That's
be
right.
creative.
You get creative. Here we get fireworks shot off twice in the same night because they do Denmark time, which is around 8 o'clock our time, and
Mhm.
then we shoot them again at midnight for our time as well.
Oh, wow.
So it's like by the time you've had that second volley of them, you're like, okay, I've had enough of this. Especially if you got dogs that my two dogs, well, before Coda passed anyway, they would bark. They weren't afraid of them. But I knew better than to let Coda out because Coda would go racing down the road to find out who's shooting them off. Because he's like, I'm going to stop this. And so Nora has picked up that habit of barking at him. You guys, she's having such a hard time right now. I feel so sorry. I mean, yes, I miss him too, but my goodness, she's missing her sleeping buddy, because she slept on top of him, spooned
Oh,
with him. Sometimes
oh,
you'd see her head stuck between his legs, and all you'd see is the back end of her, because the rest of her would be hidden. And the last 2 nights, she's been hanging kind of sort of off the side of the bed a few times, and you can see what she's looking at. She's looking through the doorway of the bedroom to the foyer, and I think she's thinking he's going to come walking through there, and he doesn't.
oh.
And
That's
it'll be a week tomorrow since he's been gone. So she's not, and she's never done anything by herself. So when I left her, I had to go work yesterday. And so I had to leave her. And when I left, I could hear her howling. When I came home, she was still howling.
my gosh.
And then I had to leave her alone this morning. And you should have heard her when I let her out. She was all over me talking. You left me, Mama. Why did you leave me?
There was a video. It was a YouTube short that was telling the story of a zookeeper. I'm not sure which zoo this was, but he rescued an otter, and he had to take some time off because I guess he accumulated too much vacation time. So he needed to figure out a way for him to say goodbye to the otter for a short period of time. And so when he said goodbye, the otter literally got so depressed that it wouldn't eat. It was crying, like you could literally see tears out of its eyes, just crying and hoping that the zookeeper would come back. And all the other otters that were in the same area were trying to cheer it up. But it wouldn't do anything. It was just so depressed. And it was so cute to just see that story that when finally the zookeeper came back, the otter literally attached itself to its leg and would never let go.
Aww. You never think that our animals mourn other animals. And Coda's been all she's ever known. I mean, when I brought her home, she was 20 weeks old, I think. And it took all. I was worried that he would be a little aggressive with her because he was still a young dog when I got her. He was, he was 5, and so he was still full of himself then. And it turned out that 5 minutes after they were meeting, she was following him everywhere, and he was Mr. Happy Guy, so there was no aggression whatsoever between them. And anytime, as she's aged, like if he walked up and thought about even sniffing her food, you would hear teeth clink together.
Oh
It's
gosh.
her teeth clanking together. It's like, back off, you know. Thank you, Frank. There is a video on my YouTube if you haven't seen it about Coda. I made a tribute video and I posted a lot of pictures in the video. And when I was doing it, it brought back so many memories of different, you know, based on where the picture was at. I'm like, oh, I remember this. And then there's a couple pictures in the video where you see Nikolai down on the floor with Coda. There's one where you can see Nikolai's really tickled because he's laughing, and Coda's eyes are closed. And what he was laughing at is he found a sweet spot on Coda's chest, and Coda's back foot was doing this, you know. And so it was tickling Nikolai. And the other one is he had just come home, Nikolai did, from sea, and he was laying on the kitchen floor with Coda, and they were like spooned up next to each other. And Coda was smiling. You could see the smile on his teeth. It was funny. I'm like, nah, I took that shot because you could see he was literally smiling. Daddy's home. Who are you asking about dairy cows with, me or Eric? Someone, he's like, have you ever been around dairy cows? I've been around cows, but I'm not sure that I've been around a bunch of dairy cows. You need to calm down. I know you heard me mention your buddy's name. I keep forgetting she knows. Oh my gosh. She also knows the word FOOD.
Ah, okay.
So I don't say that if I don't want her to start carrying on about it. I can't take you outside right now, baby. You're going to have to stay here. No. Where's your ball? Find your ball. Where is your ball? Here's your ball.
Oh, actually, Frank, I have heard about that. That dairy cows do mourn a lot.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've seen videos of farmers just, you know, when they take, because that's how we get our milk, and so they have to take the babies away. When that happens, the mother cries a lot.
Oh, interesting. So they take their babies away before they usually will wean them.
Yeah. Yep. And it's such a sad sight to see.
Yeah. She definitely hasn't been herself, that's for sure. So we're going to use 2 Ds, looks like.
And in fact, one time I was watching one of those videos, it almost made me go vegan.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was watching one of the videos of where her, Nora and Coda were greeting Nikolai. You've probably seen them, maybe. Because I always film when he comes home because he gets such a welcoming committee. And she heard Coda's voice, and she started this long, mournful howl.
Aww.
And you knew it was like, you just made me sad, Mommy. She misses him so much. And it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get a baby sister until the spring. Because I've always had 2 dogs so that they wouldn't be lonely, especially when you're out of the house for hours, because sometimes dogs get bored and do naughty things.
Yeah.
and Dachshunds are pretty precocious at times, or inquisitive. They got to get into everything. This one especially is inquisitive. She's always got to be where, you know, I want to see this. I want to get into that, you know. I'm going to share Eric's channel again. So if you haven't been to Eric's channel, go over and subscribe and share some love.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah.
They do the same thing when passing, just like elephants do. Oh, cool. I did not know that. It's interesting with elephants. It's almost like elephants are human, kind of, if that makes sense. Because some of the things they do, they try to bury their dead if they can, and they don't leave for a while. It's like the whole, I'm not sure what you call the group of elephants, but they're all family members, and they like have a little funeral, kind of like, because they all in a circle, you know.
Right, right.
Okay, so we are going to make D. Gotta make sure I have these turned in the right direction. Okay, so that one goes that way. Here.
Okay. I think I'm overthinking this.
And then F is going to be this way. Okay, all right. So let's get the D side sewn on first. And make sure I don't turn them in the wrong direction.
So what is on everybody's quilting bucket list of quilts to make?
That's a good question. Let's see what everybody says. I was watching you the other night and you were asking some really nice questions. The time difference between us is sometimes really hard.
But it's interesting that you can connect with everybody around the world, basically.
Yep. Yep, pretty much. How many hours is Hawaii behind California? Or ahead? Are they ahead or behind?
They're behind.
Okay.
Depending on the time of year, it's about 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, so it's not too bad.
No. And Hawaii is one of those places that does not change their time for daylight savings.
Does this, I guess because it's an island and it's out in the middle of the Pacific, does the hours of sunlight vary from season to season, or like it would for nighttime? Or does it stay about the same as what California does?
It's kind of, well, California to me was a lot more drastic in terms of, I mean, it could be 4 p.m. in the afternoon and it's pitch black.
Oh, wow.
Hawaii, though, it's not as drastic, but there is a little bit of difference in terms of when the sun sets in the evening and when the sun rises. So you do get somewhat of a longer day during the summer, but it's not as drastic as I've seen in like California or other places. And because it's so close to the equator, not much of a difference, or at least not a noticeable difference.
Okay. Kind of like what the noticeable is up here where I'm at. It's very noticeable up here.
Yeah.
Because right now we're, well, on the summer solstice, we were at 22 hours. And right now I think we're at, it's not dark yet right now, and it's, what time is it? It's 9 o'clock right now. So we haven't hit total darkness yet. I think we will hit it about, it used to be only, it would be totally dark around 3 a.m. But now I noticed when I went out the other night with Nora, it was 1 o'clock in the morning and it was almost dark. You had a little bit of that twilight left.
Mm-hmm.
But because we have mountains around the lake and on two sides of us where I live at, the sun probably was still up. I just couldn't see it because the mountain was blocking the view.
Wow.
So I don't know exactly what time it actually hits the horizon. But where Nikolai's at is still 24/7.
Wow. Donna is saying she always wanted to do a wedding ring quilt.
Ah. Are those really hard to do? I know the curves are challenging.
From what people have told me, it is the inner curve that makes it challenging.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a pretty drastic pivot.
Yeah. Anyone else got any bucket list quilts they want to make? I want to make a New York Beauty, or get one of those.
Bucket list.
Or get one of those Julie Niemeyer ones of the big huge stars and take multiple colors of batiks and make it. Does Hawaii have their own kind of fabric line?
Actually, they do, and it's more fashion related, but then, you know, quilters are quilters, so we're gonna use it anyway.
Uh-huh.
In fact, let me see if I can find the picture,
Okay.
because there is actually a quilt that I made for my mother.
Jackie says the snail's trail.
Oh, that's a great paper piecing pattern to do.
Yep.
Let's see, do I have it here?
Do you feel like you've gotten settled in, or do you still have some settling in to get done?
I still got a lot of settling in to do.
Okay, now we're going to put this. Oh, we get to put the purple on now. This is going to look interesting because we have green, pink, and purple.
Oh, there it is.
Here, I'll spotlight you so they can have a good look.
Actually, can you turn on the screen share?
The what? Oh,
The
screen chat?
sharing.
Okay. Screen sharing? Oh, you mean for the other one?
Yeah, because it's a photo. I don't actually have the actual quilt.
Okay, hang on. Let me take the spotlight off of this one and spotlight the other. I'm understanding that right? Oh, screen share. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hang on. How do I just hit the screen? Wait a minute. Multiple participants can share simultaneously. Okay, let me put it like that and we'll see if that works.
Yep,
Now,
that worked.
okay. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's beautiful.
So
The Hawaiian shirt.
Hawaiian fabric is modern Hawaiian fabric is typically a lot of florals, usually a lot of bright colors. Think tropical. Think
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, but traditional Hawaiian prints is a lot of browns, a lot of almost like petroglyph style.
Uh-huh.
And so the story behind this quilt is that when my father passed away, I was helping my mother clean out everything. And it was just right around the time I was learning how to do applique quilts or machine applique quilting.
Uh-huh.
And my mother didn't know that I was quilting at the time. So she wanted, I just asked Mom, what are you going to do with all these shirts that were my father's? These were his work uniforms, actually. And she's like, oh, I'm just going to throw it away. It's like, oh, let me have it then. So I took about 25 pounds worth of clothing, took it back home. And I worked on this particular quilt. I started in June and then finished it by December. And this was my mother's Christmas gift that I gave to her with all my dad's work uniform.
How did she react when you gave it to her?
Well, first of all, she slapped me in the face because I made her cry, and she doesn't like doing that. And then she was so surprised that I knew how to sew, or I was learning how to sew. Then when I told her, Mom, take a really good look at the fabric, and then she realized, oh, this is Dad's work uniforms. Aww. Then she started to cry again.
That's a good tribute to your dad.
Yeah.
Eric, your mom is so lucky, says Jackie. Nancy says, wow, hi, Nancy. How you doing? And Frank says, that's cool. That is very cool. So, since you mentioned making quilts, one of my friends who I have known since 1996, we met each other in an IRC chat channel, and we become really good friends. Her and Michael, her husband. I used to be a little scared of him because he seemed like he was a badass, but he really isn't. Because when we met and he hugged me, it was like a big teddy bear hugging me. You know, I'm like, you're not so bad after all. You know, because he was kind of scary to me a little bit. And so anyway, we were talking yesterday. She ordered a bed for Blaze so that Blaze could have his own bed. That they're moving into this place with no furniture, no nothing. And I made the comment. I said, you know, one of these days I'm gonna have to do something for you, but I have no idea what I could do for you. And you know what she said? She says, me and Michael want you to make us a quilt.
Oh.
So the challenge is on. I'm just waiting on them to tell me what colors they want to see in the quilt, because I can do that. Not a problem, because they have been my friends for so long, and when I went through the thing with the suicide of my first husband, everyone in that channel stepped up to the plate to help me through that bad time, because there was so much wreckage left behind by Hardy, and you know, you don't expect something like that to happen, and you don't know how to handle it, especially when you have teenage kid. You have one adult kid, and the other two are 16 and 17. So it was really hard on all of us. And that group of people, you know, they just like hung by my side, you know, and helped me through it. Oh no, I just knocked all my pieces on the floor.
Oh.
Darn it.
Oh no.
And it's like, I really hate knocking them on the floor because they, you know, pick up dust and stuff, you know? And then there's Nora standing on them. She doesn't know. It's not her fault. Okay, got them picked up.
This
Now
is
we
like
gotta
late in
reset.
the afternoon sewing.
What? Someone had a great nap. I took a nap when I got home. That's why I was almost late tonight, because I heard the alarm go off, and then 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, wait, I have a live tonight. So I rushed in here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I only had 15 minutes to set up, you know? And by the time I got it set up, then I was worried you were wondering, where's she at?
No, it was a good thing because I needed to get all the camera equipment set up as well.
Yeah. And then I was having trouble with the phone one. It didn't want to go online to start with. I don't know what was wrong with. I'm beginning to think my OnePlus 6, which is what you see, the keyboard in my sewing machine. I'm beginning to think that phone is going to die soon, because it's been acting weird. And it's pretty old, because the other phone I have, this is a OnePlus 6. This one's a OnePlus Nord. And this one was bought in 2022, so I've already had it 2 years. And then and the OnePlus 6 is at least 8 or 9 years old. Wow. So I'm wondering if the problems I'm having with it is signaling me like, I'm gonna die soon, so you better hurry up and finish using me.
It's amazing how fast technology is making things more obsolete quicker.
Yep. I try to stretch it out as long as I can. Laptops and phones. Yeah. Because who can afford to buy them every year? They're so expensive. My husband, on the other hand, he goes through cell phones quite a bit, because he does things like he had bought a OnePlus 6 when I did, or we bought it together actually, and he was in Iceland, and he was out taking pictures of flowers for me, which he does. He does things like this. He'll surprise me. Oh, look what I took pictures of today. But anyway, while he was wherever he was at, he must have bent over to pick up something or look at something, and the phone slipped out of his shirt pocket. And he didn't know it had slipped out until he got on the boat and they set sail, and then he was looking for his phone and couldn't find it.
Oh,
Couldn't
gosh.
find out he had dropped it somewhere. And then he got one after that, and that one got dropped in the toilet. I told him, I'm like, honey, we need to help you figure out a way of keeping you from losing things or dropping things in the toilet, you know. And then he probably dropped it in the toilet because he bent over to flush the toilet, and out the pocket it went.
No. I hate to admit it, I've done that a few times.
Yep, see?
But I was like, the price of that phone, I am scooping it out. I don't care.
Well, he scooped it out, but and he got the little cover off of it and everything, but the water had already gotten into the. He didn't have the case like what I have on mine. So now he has the new phone. He has. Wait. Yeah, the new phone now has one like that. So if he drops it, he's not getting it, damaged as easily. Because, living on a ship is hard on telephones. That is not A. This is B. I'm remarking my stuff so I don't get confused.
Yeah. My phone, I don't care if the screen is cracked. I will hot glue that thing back together and still use it.
Yep, there you go. Use it to the bloody end.
Yep.
Well, when he bought me the OnePlus Nord, it sat in a drawer for a year, and he says, "Why haven't you switched up?" I'm like, "There's nothing wrong with the one I was using." That was my opinion. Finally, a year later, I turned it on. I'm like, okay, because he kept saying, "When are you going to turn it on? When are you going to turn it on?" I'm like, okay, already, I'll do it. He says, "I just want you to be happy with a new phone." I'm like, okay. I'm one of those that when you remember when cell phones first came out, I didn't buy my kids all had cell phones before I ever got one because I don't know. It feels like a leash to me. And so for the longest time, I wouldn't even get one. I finally had to, of course. But, yeah, there's times when I'm like, I wish I didn't have a phone,
Yeah. Unfortunately, in my family, we were all so busy at the time, we wouldn't see each other. So that was the only way we could keep in contact.
Yeah. My thing is as long as I have the internet where I can talk to my kids through Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I could call them on my phone and it not cost me anything because we're on a special kind of plan where I can call the United States. But I don't always want to talk on the phone. I would rather FaceTime, or give them a Zoom link and come Zoom with me so we can talk, so I can see their faces. Sometimes I get to talk to the grandbabies.
Frank is saying, "Grace, don't fail me now."
Yep. Hi, Sylvia. How are you? And you are not late. No one's late.
So you could probably relate to this story because this is a typical thing that my mother did.
Okay.
So when she retired, we threw a big party, and then we all asked her, "What do you want to do for now going forward?" And up until that point, she's never had her own computer, and for good reason, because we were always afraid that she would get into some trouble. So, but we all said, you know what, it's time for Mom to have her own laptop and try to use the internet for the first time. So my brother gave my mom his old laptop, and she started taking classes about how to use the internet, how to set up your own email. So one day she got very excited. She called me up, and then she told me she has her first email address. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's wonderful." And then she tells me that, you can send photos over email, right? I'm like, "Yeah." And I just moved in LA, and I just set up a new apartment that she was curious to see. So she asked me, okay, so why don't you take a look some photos and then send it to me over on email? So I was like, oh, okay. So I took a few photos with my phone and then sent it off to her. About 5 minutes later, she calls me back and says, Eric, I got the email, but how do I get the photos, or what happened to the photos? So I'm like,
Uh-oh.
oh, she doesn't know how to open email attachments. So I'm on the phone with her trying to explain how to open an email attachment. And I literally told her, okay, you have to find the paperclip, thinking that she's going to find or try and look for the paperclip icon.
Uh-oh, I see this coming. Oh
Instead, she puts the phone down. She
no!
literally found a paperclip. So,
Oh no!
meantime, I'm on the other end of the line. I have no idea what in the world she's doing. So she takes her about 2 minutes. She's off the phone. And then she comes back and she goes, okay, I found the paperclip. Now what do I do? So I tell her, okay, you have to double click on the paperclip. She's like, what? I have to double click on the paperclip? And I'm like, yeah, you double click on the paperclip. Then she says, okay, well, hang on a second. So I hear her put the phone down again. And then she's literally tapping that paperclip on the table.
Oh no! Oh.
Then I finally realized that, oh my gosh, she literally took my instructions and literally found an actual paperclip.
Eric, can you cover for me for a minute? She might need
Sure.
to do something real quick. I'll be right back because this is twice she's asked. So I'll be right back.
All right. All right, everybody, you got me. So I don't usually like to make fun of my mom, but sometimes some of those stories are just too hilarious to not share. And she knows that I'm sharing it. So she has a good sense of humor. Of course, she laughed at me when I told her my story about parking at Costco. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's other people out there that can relate to that. And even though I still to this day make fun of my mom about that story, but she has a good sense of humor now. And she finally kind of realizes how silly she was to think that she could literally get a paperclip, start tapping it on the table, and poof, photo comes out. Yeah, that's my mom for you, though. Yeah, thank God bless her. Yes, she makes me laugh. But I give her credit because my mother is the type of person to actually give things a try. Um, English is not her first language. She was born and raised in Japan, and she moved to Hawaii, married my father, and I give her credit because she tries stuff, even though she knows, or she has a preconception of how things are going to go. And if she knows it's not going to end up good, she'll still try it anyway, just so that she could say that she tried it. Um, my mom was very terrified of roller coasters before, and we ended up going to Universal Studios in Los Angeles, and we took her on the Jurassic Park ride, the old Jurassic Park ride. She was terrified, but she was a good sport, and she tried it anyway. And if you've been on the ride, you know that final drop is pretty intimidating, but she hung in there. And when it happened, she literally closed her eyes, just held on to dear life. And we actually got a photo of it because, on those amusement park rides, they have those cameras that take pictures of you while you're on the ride. Well, yeah, we got one of those so that she could always remember it. But you know, she was a good sport. She enjoyed it, even though she was terrified and hanging on for dear life. Have you seen the video of the little boy who followed his father's instructions and literally put his eye on the ball, on the T-ball stand? Yes, Donna, I did see that video. It is hilarious. There's also the other video where they tell the baseball player, now run home, and he literally ran home.
So we've been online for 2.5 hours, so let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I got about another 20 minutes before I have to get off.
Okay, then we'll do it and then hang up.
Okay. Yeah. Are you terrified of roller coasters, Katie?
I didn't used to be, but now I am.
Oh.
I used to could ride them, and then after he died, me and Nikolai were in Disney, and I know you're gonna laugh when you hear this. I've been on Space Mountain, I don't know, 3 or 4 times before, but it was fine. But this go around when we went, I thought I was going to have a flippin' heart attack. It was crazy, and the only thing I could think of is it triggered something. I don't know. It was very bad. So, and I loved them. It's one of the few rides I can ride that doesn't make me sick. Because I can't ride anything that goes in a circle or I'll throw up.
Oh, gosh. Gotcha.
But yeah, I used to love them, and now I can't. I don't know. It's freaky. And I didn't know it was a problem until it happened. Ah, he's in. Hey, Russ, what's going on? I hear that you and John are going to get together for a video live together. I'm looking forward to watching that. Unless it already happened. Then I'll have to go watch the replay. She definitely had to go outside. That's why she knows that she better not do it in the house. No, you're not going to get fed yet. You're going to have to wait. Tonight's a late night. Where's your ball? Get your ball. Go get your ball. Here's your ball. Play with that. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm going to trim this one down.
I've been thinking about maybe switching her back to kibble, but I don't know how hard that's going to be after being on a raw diet for so long. I told Nikolai that I would like to put her on like part-time kibble, part-time raw, where she gets a little bit of raw still, but she's getting kibble with it. Because I feel like she's missing a couple of nutrients because I can't get my hands on organ meat other than liver, and she will not eat liver. We have tried everything to get both the dogs to eat liver, and they wouldn't. But with Coda gone now, I can probably switch her to where she's getting nutrients through dog food because it won't make her sick. But I'm a little apprehensive of trying to switch her back after being off of it for so long.
Is raw actually really better for them?
Yep. Definitely. You know, human beings used to feed their animals from either their table or raw meat and raw fish. And Great Britain's the one who designed kibble. It was supposed to be that it would help make feeding their animals easier because they were all working and doing things. It was supposed to make it more efficient, I guess. But now they put so many fake things in it, it's not healthy for a lot of dogs. And whatever
I guess that would make sense.
Yeah. And with Coda, whatever was in the kibble was the problem. We tried expensive, the really expensive. We tried grain-free. We tried where it was just fish only. And there was something in the dog food that was causing him to have the episodes that he was having. So I don't know. He must have been allergic to something.
Because I see those YouTube commercials in between videos where they talk about specific brands and how, like, there's this one commercial I always see, and this woman swears that the dog food actually extended her dog's life. And I'm like, really?
She probably just thinks that. Because that's not their natural way of eating. If you think about it, they're descendants of wolves. How do wolves eat?
True.
And wolves eat all parts of whatever they've hunted down, you know, whether it's deer or fish or whatever. They eat all of it, bones and all. And the organ, and I've seen where wolves tend to eat the insides first, all of the organ meat and all that. They eat that first before they proceed to the rest of it. Man, it looks like I cut. No, it's not cut off. It's close though. Oh my gosh, I got that one really close. So let me show you this. Let me see if I can get it up close or not. Can you see right here? Now, if you're looking at it, wait, I'm not got that. I'm going to do it up here. Never mind. It looks like I cut the tip off, but if you look at it really close, it's not cut off.
No, looks
it's
fine.
Like right there on the seam almost.
Yeah.
So close. Yep, there's no need to fix that because it's fine. All right, now what do I do? Okay. This part. Oh, it's going to go on top of each other. Okay. No, wait. Yeah, on top of each other. Yep. Okay.
I know. Is there a type of or style of quilt that you will absolutely not do?
That's a good question. Hey, Charlotte. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Charlotte.
It's good to see you. Donna says, my dogs always lived 18 to 20 plus years on a mixed diet. I don't have any pets now. And Glenda says she is blessed and on the mend. I'm glad you're doing better.
That's great.
And Russ says, yep, next weekend is their live together, and it's going to be fun. Looking forward to it, Russ. So I have some upcoming, some news for you guys. Hopefully y'all will be up for it. I'm going to be interviewing my boss. She's a Greenlander, and we're going to be talking about her growing up in Greenland. We're going to be hopefully she'll put on her national suit so that I can get up close and personal with the camera and show you the different pieces of the national suit. And then I'm going to be asking her questions about the national suit. And, you know, I think it's going to be very fun for everyone to see all the handwork that gets put into making a national suit.
Wow.
Because it takes about 2 to 5 years to make one.
Really?
Yep. The what you and I would call a shawl. Not shawl. Kind of like, it's like a poncho almost. It goes all the way around, but that part of it takes about 2 years because it's all done in glass beads.
Wow.
And then the collar of the shirt and the cuffs are made from seal skin, and then the shorts are made from seal skin. I mean, there's a whole big long thing to talk about, so it'll be interesting. And then y'all get to learn how they start. You know, hopefully she has enough information that she can share about when they actually started making the national suit, how back then they traded whale oil and different things to have access to that kind of thing back in the day. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun and very interesting. And we're scheduled to do it the first week in September, so I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. That sounds interesting. Never heard of a national suit.
Let me see if I can find a really good picture of a national suit so you guys can all see. Hold on a minute. Let me go track one down. There's actually 3 suits. Because there's 3 regions in Greenland, and each region does a different style to their national suit. See, like in the East Greenland national dress, this dress has 2 variations, one made solely of sealskin and the other featuring a white anorak adorned with glass beads, dark pants, and high kamek boots, richly adorned with floral embroidery or lace. So let me find a good picture. Some of you have seen it over on my Facebook group.
And Donna said she would never do a clamshell.
All right, I'm going to share the screen so you can see. All right, now share screen, click that on, and we're going to go here. Yeah, okay. So let me see if I can make these big.
Ooh.
Okay, so this style of the national suit, this is for Northwest from like mid Greenland down. So this suit is worn all by the southern half. Now let me see if I can find a picture of the one from East Greenland. Hold on a minute. So this is the west, and we'll go back. Can I go back or not? Will this stay on the same thing? No, hang on. Hold on, you guys. Tell me if you can still see what I'm doing. Can you see Google?
Yep.
Okay. East Greenland National Suit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see, oops, sorry. See that? This is all glass beads right here. And it's very heavy. Uh-oh, I think I clicked on the wrong thing. Sorry. Haven't been over here in a while. Okay, so these are all from South Greenland.
Wow.
And so I'll walk you through this. You have glass beads here. You see the red shirt underneath? That's made from silk. The collar that's around her neck and on the cuffs of the shirt, that is sealskin. These are a pair of shorts right here. So they're made of sealskin. And you see here, I wish I could, oops. This right here is tanned leather that's been dyed, and then they've been cut in strips and sewn together, and right in the center here, that's embroidered on. And so it's embroidered colored leather. And then you have the sealskin here. This is crocheted cotton motifs over the top of silk. And then almost all the Greenlander suits I've seen with the boots here, they have this cotton floral right above the boot. And then you see the design on the boot here, that's also embroidered on, and it's leather.
Wow.
There's a close-up of the beads. And each Greenlandic woman's collar will look different based on age. Like you see the younger one is different. And hers is different. She's probably a mom and a married also, so she's changed a little bit of the design of her collar. And then when they get to retirement age, they may change it some more to reflect that. I still didn't find the East Greenland one. Hang on a minute. Where is it? See if this is one. So sewing is involved, and it's a lot of handwork. Okay, see over here to the far right here? This is East Greenland garb or national suit. And then this, it went away. Oops. And then the one right here where you see this is simple. This is some of what some of them look like from up north. Like this part right here is made of polar bear. It's the skin that's behind the hair. They've taken and tanned. You know, when they tan the hide, they let the fur be on the inside and the hard leather part on the outside.
Wow, that is such intricate work.
Yeah, I mean that's why it takes so long, because they do all of it by hand for the most part.
Well, now I see why.
Yep. So that is what they look like. I'm hoping I can get better pictures the next time I see someone here that's wearing the northern one as well as the East Coast one. I'm hoping I'll be able to get a picture of them, and so you can see the difference between the one that you see from South Greenland to West Greenland one and the one from up north. It's really interesting how they change how they look. Stop the share. Okay, now we're back to screen.
Wow, thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. Charlotte wants to know, are you getting settled into your new place?
Slowly getting there, Charlotte. Still got a lot of unpacking to do. Still doing some furniture shopping. I don't know if you were here from the beginning, but I did find a Singer sewing featherweight for $50 with the table, and I was like, oh, I gotta walk away from it. But I was so mad at myself, but hopefully it'll still be there when I go back in a couple of weeks. Yeah, just kind of getting acclimated to, well, first of all, Las Vegas weather, and just trying to get used to the change of pace here. But thus far, enjoying every bit of the journey.
Do you think it's slower in Las Vegas versus Los Angeles?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Charlotte also says, looking forward to seeing that, Katie. Yep, I can't wait to share this interview. It's going to be fun. You know, I've been working for her for 12 years.
Wow.
As a tour guide. And when we first met, the language barrier was pretty darn evident. But here's an interesting piece of news about her and her husband. Her husband is an ambassador of Greenland, and guess where he's stationed at right now?
New York?
Washington, D.C.
Oh, that was my second guess.
So they're living in a house in Maryland. Because I guess Maryland's like right next door to it or something. So her youngest daughter, Krista, got to graduate from high school there instead of here. So I'm sure that was pretty, I've asked her about what it was like, and she told me about their graduation party. And it was pretty shocking what she told me about the graduation party. That parents dropped, because I'm not sure what kind of school she was in, but I think it was one of those, either a charter school or a private school, one of the two. So the kids got drove to their graduation party because they knew someone was going to drink. And she said that alcohol wasn't the problem at the party, it was the other things that was the problem at the party. She said she found that very shocking. I'm like, it doesn't surprise me.
Okay, I'm making a bold fashion statement here with my little crumb garland.
Here, let me spotlight you. Oh, we're making a, what do you call that in the lay? You're coming along with it.
Yep. Okay, now to go through the second bit. Actually, these are larger pieces, so they shouldn't take as much, but
okay, let me see what. Yep, okay, it's time for us to stop. Because you said you had to go.
yeah, so
tell them again, and let me post your channel one more time. Tell them again when your lives are, or what day of the week and what time your lives are, and whatever else you want to share about your channel real quick.
So again, that's Treasure Heart Creations. Usually do a live session at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here in the US. Do a lot of quilting related projects, but then now starting to venture out in just general crafting stuff. So it's usually just kind of casual discussion like what me and Katie are doing, but I'm just usually interacting with people out there on the chat on YouTube. Gonna try and get back into the rhythm of doing some edited videos. One of the things that people are kind of asking me about is a follow-up to the friction pen video that I did a couple of months ago. And they gave me some great suggestions as to what I should be testing on with that. So got a lot of work to do with that. But again, Treasure Heart Creations, 7 p.m. Tuesday nights. We do a 1-hour live session with people and we just chat and sew. Right now, I am working on the Farmer's Wife quilt, and I usually do a block for that quilt. And, you know, people just kind of come share their thoughts or just kind of hang out with me. So come and join me.
What's the name of the quilt you're working on behind you?
This is actually, it's a scrap quilt. It's made out of crumbs and just kind of threw in a little bit of black fabric and lavender fabric in there just to make it make stars out of it. But this was actually the very first, I guess, crumb quilt that I ever put together, in which I just kind of sewed a bunch of scrap pieces of orange and red, and then mixed in scrap pieces of blue, green, turquoise, and see what I could create with it. And this is how it came out.
Did you use a template or something to make the star petals?
Nope, it was just basically taking some half rectangle triangles and kind of sewing them together. So it was a learning process for me, because this is actually 5 or 6 year old quilt when I was just starting to learn different techniques. And yeah, a lot of experimentation with it and a lot of fun too. But
you said she likes it.
This is what happens when you start exploring and learning different techniques.
Yep, it's beautiful. Okay, everyone, thank you for coming to the live tonight. And share the video if you want. Go and share your love with Eric and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to his channel. Any little bit helps any channel, all of us small channels for sure. So have a great night and a great weekend. Make sure to live, laugh, love, dream, and create from that. Good night, everyone.
Night.